Hey everyone, today I'm going to take a look at the first supplemental book for D&D 4th edition, The Adventurer's Vault. This book was released in September of 2008 and contains a ton of different types of items that you can give out to players as they complete their campaigns. It's got weapons, it's got armor, it's got magic items, it's got potions. You name it, if you need it, it's probably in this book. Looking at the table of contents, you can see the first chapter is the mundane equipment, if you will. It's weapons and mounts and vehicles, and then the second chapter is about the magic items. So there's a few things in this book that I think are absolutely amazing. The first thing that I want to highlight is the size of this book. So the book itself is well over 200 pages long. There's some tables and stuff in it where it provides some organization, but the bulk of that 200 pages is items. So it's weapons, armor, staffs, rods, rings, wands, you name it, it's here. So there's just a ton of stuff to choose from in this book, and I think it's just amazing that it's such a large book. As their first supplement, just contains so much information. That's one of the great things I love about it. And then, looking ahead, getting into the first section where it's the equipment. So you first get a section on the masterwork armor, and you can see the number of choices that you have for masterwork. Then you get into some weapons. The part that I love in this first chapter is, first of all, the mounts, and you get a whole list of different types of mounts, and then you get all the stat blocks for them. So every single mount here, you can see what the stats are for it and what their special powers are and how you might want to use those. So great level of detail that you have for the mounts. They really took it a step further then with the vehicles, because not only do you get a list of the vehicles, but you get a whole set of rules about how vehicles work, and in particular how they're going to work in combat. And so you get this whole set of rules with some diagrams of how you would maneuver the vehicles and how they work when you're trying to move them around other creatures. So really wonderful. Beyond just providing the details about the vehicles, you get information about how to operate those vehicles and some of the impacts of that. And then on the following pages, you get the actual stat blocks for those vehicles with some specific details about how they are controlled and what you need in order to control it and things like that. Really, really great stuff. Then the next section talks about alchemy, and you get alchemical formulas, alchemical items, what they cost, and then all the details about what they do at all the different levels. So really great stuff. And then we get into the second chapter of the book, which is the largest chapter, and that is the magic items. And here you're going to have your magic armor, your magic weapons, anything that goes on your arms. You're going to have things that go on your feet, on your hands, your amulets and things, your rings, every magic item you can think of, and then down to the consumables as well. And I won't be able to page through every single page in this section because there's just so many items in it. But I do want to highlight a couple things. One, I love at the beginning of each section, you get these tables. So this is the armor section, and you get a table that shows you every single piece of armor that's in here, ordered by level, and it gives you a little snippet of what it does, the cost, and then some categories that it falls into. So really great stuff right off the bat. You can go into the front of each section and see what's in there. And then once you get past that table, then you actually see the details for those things. And so here's all the specific armors and what they do and what the powers are at different levels. And so really, really great detail. And then once you go to the next section, then you would get another table that would show you the information. So for the weapons, here's all the weapons now, and you get a table showing all of that. So really organized very nicely. Another great thing that I love about it is how it is organized, and really easy for a DM to kind of keep track of things. The other thing that I like in these items is the fact that you don't have to use them at a specific level. So every single item in here is suitable for a variety of different level characters. For example, a blood claw weapon, say a blood claw sword or something. If you had a party that was at level 2 or 3 and you were completing an encounter and you thought this would be a cool weapon for them to find as they're completing that encounter, okay, you can give them a level 2 blood claw sword, and that's the bonus they would get. If you're much later in the campaign and they're the party's at, say, level 12 or 13, and you're looking at the description of a Bloodclaw sword and you say, man, that would be perfect, but it's only a level 2 and that wouldn't really help them at all, because all these different magic items have a variety of values for them. So a Bloodclaw weapon, it starts at level 2, but it has bonuses that you can get all the way up to level 27. The Blood Iron weapon starts at level 13 and goes up to level 28. The Bronze Wood weapon goes from level 8 to level 28. So every single weapon or magic item in here has a whole variety of uses. And so pretty much every item in this book could be used for any level character in your campaign. So it's not like half this book is useless once your party gets past level 3. Everything in here you could use for your entire campaign, because they can all be set up at the appropriate level for whatever your characters are at, which I think is great. Another thing that I love about, and this is more of a function of 4th edition, not necessarily this book in particular, but I love the fact that it's, when you have an attack, it's not limited to just simply being against armor class. You'll notice that a lot of the weapons and items in here that deal an attack, they don't necessarily just deal that attack against armor class. You'll see that some of them actually say versus fortitude or versus reflex. And so the attack that you're doing has different, you might have a creature that you're fighting that has really strong armor. But if you've got a weapon that actually does its attack against fortitude or against reflex, then you may actually have an advantage against that creature, because they might have some super armor that they're wearing, but as a result, they don't have much dexterity. And so if you have something that's going to do an attack that's against a reflex save, then you might actually come out ahead in that. So I like in 4th edition how there was a lot more of that, being able to attack other things besides armor class. And just continuing to flip through the book, you can just see the number of things. These are the staffs, and then you get to the wands. And again, each section has a table that's specific to that section, and it just shows you all the different things that you have at a glance, and then you go into the specific details of what they are. And of course, there's wonderful artwork along the way, so just really nice. And and I'm at page 121, and just to kind of let you know, I'm going to go through chunks. I've still got almost 100 pages left in this book. I mean, you could see how many items there are that I'm showing you, and there's still, now I've got like 50 something pages left here as I go through in some pretty big chunks. Just tons of stuff. If you're someone who likes to hand out magic items during a campaign, really great. I mean, I know as a player, this is the type of stuff I loved. You complete an encounter, you go through a dungeon, and you're looking up the treasure, and you get some of these really cool magic items, and it's like, oh, what does that do? And you're trying to figure out what that thing does and everything. And even if you don't need it, and you say, all right, well, I'm just going to go and we're going to sell it. Okay, well, it tells you how much they're worth, and then you kind of have an idea of what you could try to sell it for and go to a big city and things. So that's great. Then you get into consumables here with all the different potions and what they do. Also, this one, like helps with fortitude. This one helps with will, so that's nice. So just, all these different things. And then right as you get to the end, you get to appendix, and it talks about unique items. So things where there's a one-of-a-kind item if you want to create it. Then you get into, if you want to level an item on your own, here's some things to be aware of. If you're going to try to, change the level of something on your own, be careful of certain things. So some guidance there. And then this is another one of my favorite things in this book. The second appendix is a table of every single magic item in the book. So it's essentially an index for the book, but it's sorted by level. And it tells you what the item is and gives you a little bit of information on, what kind of bonus it gets and what type of item it is. But then it tells you the page number, which is just really great. So, it's basically your index, but it's, instead of being just sorted alphabetically, it's sorted by level. So if you got a party that's at level 4, that you can come here and look at the level 4 or 5 and try to find a cool item and say, let me see. And then you've got the page number right there to look at it. So From a DM perspective, this book just, has really great organization for you to see it. In addition to the tables at the beginning of each section for the different items, you get this nice table at the back to look up everything really easily as well. So just really great, and then, I think this is, page 223 is the last page on here. Just a ton of stuff in this book, just so many items to be had. And as the first supplement, I think it was really nice. When I first was starting with D&D, I was looking for this book, but I couldn't find it. I got the Adventurers Vault 2, which was also a very good book. I have that one, and I might do another video on that one. And eventually, just recently, came across one of these and was able to pick it up. Very cool book. I think it's well organized and just got a ton of information in it. If you're interested in picking up a PDF of it, I'll put the link down into DM's Guild where you can grab a PDF version of the book as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you have this book? Do you like it? What are your thoughts about 4th edition in general? Newsletter link is also down in the description. Until next time, take care.